Hi, everyone, and welcome to our April feature release. My name is Paul Sonneveld, and I am both a co-founder and the product owner here at Merchant Spring. We've got a lot of new features coming your way here in April, and I'd love to share them with you today. Thanks for joining if you're joining live, or thank you for watching this on demand afterwards. As I mentioned, we've got a lot to cover today, so I just want to outline what we have in store for you. We've got a couple of things on the agenda, and that really starts with taking you through some of the new marketplace connectors that we now have available. Secondly, I want to take you through a pretty big new feature that we've called it filtered channels, and I want to take you through some use cases and show you how to actually use this inside the platform. Third, we've got lots of product enhancements. Internally, we call these quality of life enhancements. There is a lot coming your way, and I'm just going to touch on the major ones. Fourth, we've done a lot of work around how to elevate your brand as an agency in front of your clients. So there is additional functionality now available for those of you that use the white label version of our platform, and I'd love to talk you through that too. If we have time left, I will take you through a bit of a highlight of what we're currently working on, and I might even answer some questions too. So for those of you that are attending live, feel free to put your questions in the comments, and I will try and do my best to get to them towards the end of this. So let's jump right in. The first one I want to start with is really new connectors. And the big one here really is Mercado Libre. For those of you not based in Latin America, you may not know, but Mercado Libre is by far the largest marketplace and e-commerce ecosystem in Latin America. It's larger than Amazon in Brazil. It's larger than Amazon in Mexico. And we as Merchant Spring are absolutely delighted to offer connectivity into this entire ecosystem. We support two types of connections, and we'll go through that in a little while. We support those sellers and brands who are part of their global selling program, but we also support sellers that are based locally, whether it be in any of those 6 markets that Mercado Libre operates in. And what is neat about this particular connector, advertising is included from day one. And it's part of the same initial connection process. So let me show you how to connect the store. It is straightforward because we're using almost the identical process that we're using for Amazon. So the idea here is to go into Add Channel, go to the drop down. As some of you know, we're only showing the top channels at the top, and we may well move Mercado Libre to the top here, but just circle down, find Mercado Libre, then type in the name or select global selling program in the country that you want to connect, give it a store name, and then authorize. And then all we'll ask you is we'll surface a authenticated Mercado Libre login window, use your credentials there, and to connect the store. So it's a really simple and straightforward process. In fact, it's even simpler than Amazon because it doesn't require an additional connection for your advertising platform. Once you do that, data is then fully available in the platform. So even in our demo account here, you can see we've got already a couple of Mercado Libre accounts up and running, and it gives you a really good feel for what is the sort of information available for Mercado Libre. Of course, all of the other reports that we have, things like notifications or client reporting, are immediately available as well. Which brings me to the second marketplace connector that we are launching, which is Mano Mano. Mano Mano is one of the largest DIY marketplaces in Europe. They operate across France, Spain, Italy, UK, and Germany, and I know is certainly sought after by many of our European-based agencies. Again, the connector is available inside our platform. It's part of the connection window. This one is a little bit harder as you do need to obtain an API key, but there is a link to the document taking you step by step through what you need to do. I do want to just add and emphasize that Mano Mano is very limited in terms of the APIs it makes available, and therefore, you will see a more limited set of reporting for Mano Mano. All right, let's talk about a new feature. One of the sort of major feature releases we've done recently is what we have called a channel filter. Let me try and explain what that is. What a channel filter tries to do is take an existing marketplace account. Right now, this is available for both Amazon seller accounts and Amazon vendor accounts, and create a completely filtered view for that channel based on a set of SKUs and ASINs that you select. And we can, as a result of that, make all of the reporting, or the vast majority of reporting, available to that sub-channel, as well as advertising. Now, before I go into the detail, just want to sort of talk about some of the use cases. So why would you may want to think about that? And there are lots of use cases, but these are the most common ones that we've come across. So for example, if you are an agency managing a very large FMCG vendor that sells multiple brands through the same vendor account, you may have a requirement to do detailed reporting for each of the different brands, to report back to the different brand and category teams within that organization. This functionality that we're talking about here is a great way to really filter on those specific brands and set up sub-channels for that vendor account that focus on a specific brand. The second example might be that you're working with a lot of smaller clients, and this can be on the vendor or the seller side, where you are actually selling the products on behalf of your clients. So they don't have their own seller store or vendor account. You are simply purchasing the products and on-selling them through your own account. You are the merchant of record, or the vendor of record as such. Again, this is then a great way to isolate the performance for those particular products. So you don't give them access to your entire account because you don't want them to see other clients' performance. You can just show them the SKUs that are theirs. We can even go as far as creating reports and even providing client access to that specific filter. And then last, another very common use case is agencies that are managing ASINs on Amazon. Often they are asked by their clients just to manage the priority ASINs. So let's say a client has 100 ASINs that you're managing, but only 20 of those you're actually tasked to manage on a day-to-day basis and drive performance out of. So this is another way to say, let's just look at those 20 products in isolation and report on those. Now, what I want to just show you to make this real is what this looks like in practice. So in our demo account here, I have an Amazon seller account. Now, keep in mind, this works both for Amazon sellers as Amazon vendors, and very shortly we're opening up to Walmart and other marketplaces where you can do the same thing. Here, this is the seller account, which is actually a health and beauty demo account. And this account here sells multiple brands. So actually, if you go to the sales by group, you'll notice that we've got a couple of groups set up in here. One of the brands that they have is a brand called Dermafine. Now, I may have a requirement to produce more reporting than we can see here. So what I've done now is I've created a filtered store. We can see that in the drop down here, filtered brand Dermavine, and you can see it's got a slightly different icon. It's got that sort of gray triangle here. That means it's filtered. So if I click on that now, what I'm seeing here is I've got an entire set of reports, everything from sales insights to profit, operations, and even marketing, that are generated and filtered just for the products that belong to this brand. So this is a great way for me to report on that particular brand's performance inside Amazon without providing any visibility to any of the other products that are being sold through the same account. This then also allows me to generate reports. So for example, if I am generating a client report, I can actually pick that up as a channel and generate a report just on the data for those particular products. So I hope you get a sense of how you can use this in your business to improve the reporting for your clients and brands. Now, in terms of how to set these up, it's really a 3-step process, and there's a wizard that will guide you through that. But it really starts with creating a custom group inside the sales module of the master store. That's the area where we really ask you to tell us what are the products that you need in that group. So it all starts in the master account here, in the Amazon seller account, and creating that group. It's a great way to ensure that you've got the right products included in that group. The second thing then is to use that group to create a filtered channel. So if we go to the add channel function here and we scroll down, you can see 2 new options that are appearing here. We've got Amazon Seller Central filtered and Amazon Vendor Central filtered. Now, because we're dealing with a seller store here, we can do it like that. We'll go back to our master account, and then we will see a list of groups that we've created there. So here's the brand group that I've created. If I now click this button, that will create that filtered store. If there is an advertising account connected to this account, we will take you to a next step where we'll ask you to connect the relevant advertising portfolio to that store as well. So you've got everything in one place. Just in terms of the process, going back, create a group, set up that filtered channel, and then link the advertising portfolio. One watch out or thing I just want to draw your attention to, the initial filtering process takes about 24 hours. That's us really creating an additional channel in our database, doing the initial filtering and setting up that that data and refresh process. So it will take 24 hours before it first appears. All right, moving on. A couple of enhancements and quality of life items that you will see later next week. And I know some of you have been asking us for some of these for a long time, and they are finally coming. So the first one here is day, week, month intervals. One of the most common questions that I get asked is it possible, Paul, to change the intervals on the trend charts? Right now we automatically adjust those either to days or weeks, depending on the time period selected. What we will allow you to do as of next week is to go into our time selector widget and actually configure what intervals do you want to see on the chart. Do you want to see quarterly intervals, monthly intervals, or weekly intervals, or even lower day and hour, as you can see in this example. And the monthly intervals here are actually calendar months. So when we're talking February, we're talking 28 days. When we're talking March, obviously 31 days. And this will be available in reports as well. So I hope that many of you will be delighted to see that, because certainly that's been a key request. Moving along. The next piece here is about hybrid reporting. As you are probably aware, on our dashboard, we add up and we aggregate across multiple channels. And the idea here is to provide you with that omni-channel view. Makes sense. From an Amazon vendor point of view, we have been up to date, including purchase orders in this view. Technically we're comparing orders and orders, but what that creates, it creates a slightly distorted view around, how does the customer actually order the product? And because of that, we'll be making a change early next week to replace the purchase order data in that sales by channel with ordered revenue for Amazon vendors. So that then gives you a much more accurate picture of how you sum performance, from a B2C ordering point of view across both vendors and sellers. So, in this example here, you can see we are, the numbers we are showing here is ordered revenue, so that we're using a very consistent definition with the seller and 3P marketplaces there. We will also be launching a separate module on the dashboard that actually will still show you your purchase orders and the ability to aggregate a purchase order view across multiple countries and accounts. So that is coming your way as well. Sourcing share is part of the retail analytics inside our Amazon vendor analytics module. And this is quite a complicated topic, particularly around how do we distill insights between what we're seeing on the manufacturing side versus the sourcing side. If you dig really deep, it's actually possible to see a number of enhancements. And where we're focusing at the moment is to provide you with more visibility of what is happening with your inventory that's Amazon shipping. And we're really asking two questions. For which products is Amazon sourcing inventory elsewhere? In other words, say in this market we're looking at here in the US, for which product is Amazon shipping items to consumers in the US, but they're not sourcing from you? In other words, where are they sourcing from other vendors in the US? And these can either be distributors, or a lot of times Amazon will actually import products from other Amazon countries through their international or global shipping program. So that is what we call lost COGS. And as you can see on this chart above here, what we're measuring through the sourcing share is, when is that share or those lost COGS, when does it fall below 100%? In other words, when has Amazon sourced inventory from somewhere else? And we're also quantifying the value of that in the gray bar. So you can start to understand, okay, actually, what is my missed opportunity here? There's also another side to this whole conversation, is sometimes Amazon will use your inventory to export and meet demands of international customers. And this often happens, many customers will ask us, why is our sourcing units, why is that higher than our manufacturing units? And manufacturing units are supposed to be the total market, right? And one of the main answers there is, it's most likely that Amazon is taking your inventory and shipping it elsewhere. For example, in the US to satisfy, local demand in Mexico, for example. So again, what we try and do here is to understand, okay, for which particular ASINs and which particular products, where has Amazon decided to actually send your products and export them internationally? So we can see, as you can see in this table here, we can see how that is happening at a particular product level, whether a product is either being, where you're losing share internally, or in fact, it's actually being exported. And then what we try and do is aggregate that across the total account and also plot that by way of a trend line. So you get a real insight in terms of where we're losing share, where's a lost COGS opportunity domestically, but maybe there's a broader export conversation to be had with your vendor manager around, maybe bringing in stock locally, or, helping Amazon satisfy that demand in a different way. So some really interesting insights coming your way in terms of the new sourcing share reports. The last enhancements I want to talk about today, it's a small one, but actually one that many of you have asked for. Right now in the purchase order module for vendors, we look at the date the order was placed as the timestamp on all of our data, including the charting. Many of you asked us, hey, can we flip that around and actually base that on when a product was shipped or delivered into the Amazon system? As of next week, you will be able to do that. We are including a very simple toggle on the purchase order trend like that, where you can toggle between the two different timestamps. So you can look at the data from an order date point of view, or you can look at the data from a, when is it being delivered point of view. And that means you can also start to look into the future a little bit as well. Last but not least, and I'll touch on this very, very briefly, is we continue to make enhancements on our white label offering. And the reason we do that is, our mantra is simple. We want to help you save time, and we want to elevate your brand, particularly if you're an agency, in front of your customers, which means, we're trying to do a better job on that every single month. So a couple of enhancements that are now available to you, and some of you are already taking advantage of this. So first of all, we have the ability to completely style and white label the product to match your particular brand guidelines. That means color schemes, fonts, and in some instances also layouts. So we also have the ability to hide widgets, remove widgets, even simplifying some of the menu structure, for example. We can now host this on your own domain. And when you do that, of course, all the reports are coming out under your domain and styled as such. The other thing that we offer now is the ability to create different client profiles. So if we just look in here, I hope you can see that. You may have clients in your portfolio for which this level of data here is too overwhelming. It wouldn't be appropriate to give them a login to the system and have all this level of data. So what we can actually do this, and we can customize this at an agency level, is to create different profiles. We may have a standard client seat that has all of this data available, but we'll remove some of the basic things like the live chat window or the ad channel or even the reporting bit. So there is still some differentiation between what your clients see and what the agency can see. But what we can go much further and really strip this down. We can completely remove this menu altogether, or just talk about 2 or 3 menu items. We can hide a lot of the widgets, both here in the My Channels view as well as the dashboard view. So we can set up different configurations for your clients as well. So what we're now engaging a lot of clients on is really talking about 2 types of configuration: a full configuration where clients really value that, and then a light configuration for clients that just want to have a quick read on their multi-channel performance, but we don't want to overwhelm them with an excessive amount of data. Okay, I think we're coming to the end of our session. I do want to very briefly talk about what's next. Now, the reality is we are probably working on 50 different things, but in terms of the big pieces we are working on right now, I want to be transparent and give you some visibility of that. A big focus for us right now is advertising. I'm really answering 2 questions. One, the ability to create additional advertising platforms to Merchant Spring, but also within that, creating the ability for you to link multiple advertising channels to a single seller account, or link and connect advertising channels without even having access to the underlying selling account. So that's a big focus for that. Amazon DSP is under development right now. And we're also looking at Criteo and Bol.com as part of this sprint and the next. From a channel point of view, Zalando work is well on the way, and we hope to release that over the next few weeks. Obviously, a big fashion marketplace in Europe. And Walmart, 1P, a warehouse supplier, is on our radar as well for this current sprint. And the other one that we've been talking about for a while and really valued by a lot of our enterprise customers is the API gateway. So we're hoping to bring version 1 to market later in May as well. Now, these are just some of the big rocks that we're looking to work on. Of course, alongside of that, there's a long list of quality of life improvements as well. All right, that is really a wrap for April. I hope you'll enjoy seeing these features in our platform next week. I hope they make sense. If you'd like to go deeper on any of these features, or if you'd like to know more, feel free to get in touch with us, support@merchantspring.io, or the live chat on our website. Very happy to talk to any of you in much greater detail. Of course, it'd be remiss of me not to thank all of you, specifically, our long-term partners that are on the call today. You're the ones that push us. None of the things I've shown you today is because we thought they were good ideas. It's because you challenged me, and I'm often the recipient of that, to bring these ideas to life. So thank you, and please don't stop. Please continue to challenge us in terms of how we can make our platform better and help the platform save even more time for you. Now, if there are any questions, feel free to pop them in the commentary box. I don't see any questions at the moment, but I'm happy to just give it 10 or 20 seconds just to see if anyone pops a question in there, and I'll try and answer it live. I see there is a question there from James. When will sourcing by Terry Review be available? I don't know. I need to have a look what we get back and what we can put together for you there. So let me come back to you on that question, James, in the next few days. All right. It looks like we have no further questions at this time. So I'm going to wrap up and just say thank you so much for tuning in. If you are watching this session on demand after and you do have questions, feel free to get in touch. Happy to assist and take further feedback. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.